riding on the feels. Hey everybody, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my thoughts and impressions regarding episode 18 of Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS. And I'll be honest with you guys, this episode hit you right in the feels. This episode was another emotional, serious episode, something that VRAINS has been lacking the past couple of episodes, in all honesty. I don't think we've actually had episodes this serious since the Revolver episodes, but anyway, this episode just hit you right in the feels. We get a little bit about Zaizen's backstory, and this episode was really good. But anyway, enough talking about that. Let's go ahead and discuss the episode. So the episode starts off with everybody in the data bank of Solid Technology. Zaizen is there with Ghost Girl, and Playmaker has just arrived. And we get the recap of Zaizen saying, "I was waiting for you, Playmaker." And it's funny because when they see Ghost Girl and Zaizen, their Playmaker and Ignis, they're like, "What are you doing here? Back off." And that's when Zaizen says, "I know, Playmaker. I know about the incident 10 years ago." And they start talking about the incident 10 years ago, which they're still not real detail-oriented on. I think that's something they're just wanting to keep us guessing on. But then Zaizen goes into how Solid Technologies kidnapped him and did all these horrible things. And back in the real world at Solid Technologies security headquarters, the techs are like, "Solid Technology did what?" And even the guy that replaced Zaizen, who I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but anyway, he's like, this is something that only I should know, not everybody should know. And he actually orders the techs to cut the feeds, send them straight into his office, don't view it, don't record it, or you're fired. And he walks out the room. And it's funny because one of the techs said, "How many times exactly are we going to get fired today?" And the other guy's like, "Oh, I don't know." So it's funny because they're actually poking fun at the fact that he's fired him multiple times, and they're just like, "How many times are we going to get fired today?" But the episode continues on. Zaizen basically has one demand from Playmaker: give me Ignis and leave. He's like, "And if you do, I will bring Solid Technologies' horrible actions to light. I will be your advocate. I will make sure that what they did does not go unpunished." And Playmaker tells Zaizen he's not going anywhere, and there's only one way to get rid of him, and he knows how that is. And Zaizen challenges Playmaker to a duel. And the duel starts off, and it turns out Zaizen is rocking a Tendangle deck, which is a flip effect deck, which is actually very effective, even noted by Playmaker that, hey, this is a pretty effective deck. And his two monsters that we use throughout most of this episode are Tendangle Hound and Tendangle Angel, but we'll get to Tendangle Angel here in a little bit. But anyway, Tendangle Hound. This card has a really annoying effect. Every time Playmaker links summons and there's a monster linked to it, it's going to lose 1,000 attack points thanks to Hell Howling. That is its special effect. And this is actually giving Playmaker all kinds of grief, pretty much annihilated Decode Talker down to nothing, and just his other monsters too. But somehow Playmaker manages to keep Decode Talker from being completely destroyed, and we actually see towards the end of the duel, Playmaker brings out Firewall Dragon. And when Firewall Dragon comes out, Zaizen is literally quaking in his boots. He's like, "That's Playmaker's ace monster. The dragon he used to defeat Revolver." And that's pretty much where the episode ends off from the duel perspective. So with the duel perspective out of the way, no win, no loss yet, still torn on who's going to win, who's going to lose, what's exactly going to happen with this. I want to talk about a little bit of Zaizen's backstory because we actually get this during the duel. And I want to go back to the two monsters that Zaizen used primarily throughout this duel, Tendangle Hound and Tendangle Angel. These two monsters represent Zaizen and Aoi. Zaizen being Tendangled Hound and Aoi being Tendangle Angel. And basically, it's one monster protects the other. If one's destroyed, the other revives it, etc., etc. And that's pretty much Zaizen's strategy. These two monsters represent him and his little sister. And even Zaizen says, "I feel for you, Playmaker. You're about Aoi's age, aren't you?" And he goes on about his backstory with Aoi, about how they were orphaned as kids because their parents got into a traffic accident the day of their wedding anniversary. And it's actually funny because this brings back up a debate we had earlier on in the series about whether Zaizen and Aoi were actual brother and sister. Turns out they're only half brother, half sister. That was kind of confirmed again by this episode, so it looks like it wasn't just a fluke in translations for one episode. But anyway, we go through that, and we learn that Zaizen took in all kinds of odd jobs, including hacking for this mob kind of character, basically doing anything he could to support Aoi. And he's saying to Playmaker, I understand what it's like to lose something. I understand what it's like to lose your family. He's like, just let me take care of it. And Playmaker again insists that it's not going to happen. So, with the feels out of the way, that was pretty much the episode. A little bit out of order, but there were just some things that needed to be touched on outside of the duel. But, as always, a fantastic episode from Brains. This episode, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This episode just hit you right in the feels. It hit all the right notes. The Link Summon animation, they finally changed, which actually was probably my only major quirk with Brains so far. But anyway, in the comments section down below, let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just kind of there? What were some of your highlights of the episode? What was your favorite moment? What are your thoughts on Zaizen's deck and his story with Aoi? What are your thoughts on the whole incident 10 years ago? Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everybody, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.